Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back here on Mark's Aquatics. Nothing aquatic today, but I'm going to do a fix on my Land Rover. My ABS lights coming on. The dreaded three amigos, which any of you Discovery owners out there will know exactly what I'm talking about if you've come across this situation before. Now, I've been on the code reader and it said that it was one of my rear sensors that had gone down. It said it was the shuttle valve that had gone down, and I've put a new shuttle valve on. There's plenty of videos on here to tell you how to take this all apart. It's just, you got one grommet there, you've got three of these little shaps, sorry, that you've got to take off, and you've got to take off for the wiring obviously, and your breathers and everything from your, just to give you a bit of room to get to this pump here. Now you haven't got to take all these off, because you can just disconnect them from the back there and they'll pull off, and once you get it out you can slowly bend it out of the way. Now you've got to be careful doing this. Take that pipe off there as well, and here we've got our little vacuum chamber there, which we've got to remove as well, just to give us a little bit more room. In fact, I might be able to get to it. You can see the shuttle valve under there. Now there's three Allen keys which hold that on, and what we're going to do, we're going to do a bypass today, because apparently these horrible things can give you fault codes when they're actually brand new. Now this is a brand new one and they say to try this first, so I'm going to give this a go. So I'm going to take this off. As I said just now, there's you've got three hex bolts under there which you've got to take off, and your shutter valves will be inside there, and we'll unplug all that and we'll take it off and we'll take it into my workshop, and we'll mess about with it in there and do some funky rewiring. Okay. Okay guys, there we go. I've taken the bolts out, taken that out, and that's what we've got inside. Now we've got to put two wires now, one on each one of these, and we've got to bypass this switch here. So that's what we've got to do next. Right, sorry guys, I forgot to press play then. What I've done is I've taken this out. I've got some more wire here from an old wiring loom from one of my strip lights on my van. I'm just going to grab some little snips a minute. Right, we've got these now. Now I'll just nip this off a minute and then I'll show you what I've done. Don't want to cut that wire. Best snips in the world. Right, what I've done is I'll show you on the other side. I've just taken this back. In case it's not this that's faulty, I'll bypass it anyway going through there. And I've just cut back that wire there to expose the wire, and I've just literally got that wire there, made it into two prongs, wrapped it around one each side. I'll show you on this side now with another piece which I'll use red. Just pull that off of there, and I've just parted these two, just twisting them up like that, make sure they're nice and tight, and then what we'll do is we'll solder them up in a minute. It's the only wire I had it around at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that around there like that now, bring that around, and then squeeze that on there nice and tight. Give them a good old squeeze up, and then just nip it back with my amazing snips, which are crap. Right, there you go. Now I've also enlarged these holes. They were normally that size, but I've just put a drill bit through, and what I'll do now is I'm just going to thread those now back through so they come out the back, you see, like that. And the same with that one. Pull him through there, and then what we can do is we can leave them out now like so. Balance him on there, get the old solder out. Ooh, I'll pull a bit off of there, and then we'll attempt to solder this little joint here. Right, after a bit of mucking around guys, I've done it now. I've soldered that wire to that one, and that wire to that one, and you can see them now coming out the back. Okay, it's the red wire there that you want to go to your yellow and your green wire, and then the black one just goes to earth. So you can put that anywhere under a nut or a bolt to the chassis, to the main frame, and that'll earth it, and that'll bypass the connection. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually coat these two with silicone. I'm going to put a blob of silicone around each one to keep the moisture out, which I've got around here somewhere. Right, so we're just going to pick him up like that, and we're going to squeeze in a nice blob of silicone all the way around those little joints, and so it comes out the back as well. Squeeze it all in around, and then at the back there you can stick a little bit on the back as well. Like that, and that will just make sure that no moisture gets back in through those holes there. Okay, so right, so that's all done now, so we've just got to wait till that silicone goes off. You can always lick your finger a little bit and squash it in amongst it, just to make sure it's completely covered with the silicone all the way around the front and the back as well. That looks nicely sealed in there now to me. So I'll wait till that goes off, and then it's reverse the process. I'll show you how to connect the wires up then. Okay, what I've done now is I've just put that end on there. That's going to be the earth side. Okay, so we've got a longer cable on there just in case we need to run it around anywhere to get it to a point of earth. Unless you've got a little self-tapping screw you can just put into the bodywork somewhere. And this one now has obviously got to be spliced into the yellow and the green wire. So we're going to have to go back outside now, and what I'll do is I'll show you what I'm going to do outside. Okay guys, we're back under the Land Rover bonnet again. I've refitted now the old block itself back on these rubber mounts. We've got one there which we had to replace, one there we had to replace, and one, I'm not sure if you can see, it's very sunny today, one down there we had to replace as well. And we've got the two block connectors there and there which we've put back on. We've refitted the vacuum chamber, the air intake from the airbox, we've fitted that back in there as well. And we've got the wire now. This is the one that I've looked on a lot of videos and they don't actually show you where the wires go. So we've got the red wire, okay, which is the one here, which you wanted to connect. You cut through that, it's got a splice in it anyway. I've just wrapped some tape up around this again. But then you want to go up there and you want to find that green and yellow wire, which you can just see, where am I pointing, which is just in there, not that one, that's grey and yellow. You want the green and yellow one, and what you want to do is you want to chop back a piece. So that's your cable there. Just take a piece of that insulation off, peel that off, and then solder your red wire to that, which I've done there. So imagine that's up under there now. I forgot to film all this, so that's why I'm going back over it. And then you can put some shrink tube around that joint. So you've soldered now that red wire from there onto there, and the black wire then I've just used a self-tapping screw there, cleaned a bit of the paint off, and I've just put that and earthed it to the body, to the chassis there. And that is going to get rid of your three amigos, guys. Alright guys, we're inside old Bessie again. And as you, your steering wheel's in a perfect place. Right, that's a better position for that steering wheel. Right, we've got the keys in now, guys. please go off. Ah, look at that. It works. We have no more lights on the dash, guys, which is brilliant. So that is how you get rid of the 3 Amigos, as they're known, or your ABS, traction control and hill descent light, to make sure they all go off. Because I just failed the MOT. I put the codes were reading it was a rear right hand back sensor that had gone, which I replaced, put that back on, and it didn't work, and it stayed on. So that shuttle valve was the next one, so we've put that on. We've modified that slightly now, so that's got rid of those horrible little lights. So if you haven't passed your MOT, guys, that's the simple way of doing it. Any questions or any bits you didn't understand, just drop me a message in the comments below and I'll help you out as best I can. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.